Alright, Angus, who died?
What? Oh shit!
Let's do this.
A lot of you probably know this, but I just got a brand new mic. I have been absolutely dying to use it. And unfortunately, the debut of this mic is to announce that Alex Steen has retired from the NHL. Now, there's not going to be a lot of yelling in this one. We're just going to have a nice little chat. Here's what the official tweet says. Alexander Steen has announced his retirement from hockey due to a back injury. Steen's NHL career spanned 15 seasons, more than 1,000 NHL games, 454 points, and a Stanley Cup. He won the whole fucking thing. We were all pretty sure that this was going to happen within a season or two. I mean, back injuries, especially at that age, are just so hard to recover from. And I feel his pain. I had to quit hockey for a lumbar injury. Man, what a tough off season. I mean, this is probably one of the most emotional off seasons, I think, in my entire lifetime. I mean, if you think about it, in the last 2 months, we've said goodbye to an Allen and 2 Alexes. And it really sucks because ever since I started watching Blues hockey and really started paying attention to Blues hockey, he's always been one of the forwards on the team. And so it's not just a physical loss, it's a sentimental loss. I mean, people were mad at his cap hit, which I can totally understand, but players get old. They don't contribute forever. Just look at Zdeno Chara. Look at anybody, really. And a lot of people outside the Blues hockey sphere don't understand what kind of a role Alex Steen played throughout the last 2 seasons. He knew that he wasn't an offensive contributor anymore. He knew that. He wasn't put on the 4th line because of his production. He was put on the 4th line to act as a mentor. And you can hear from testimonies from Thomas, Dunn, Costin, Kyrou. They're all saying that he's such a valuable mentor and he's really taught them to grow their game. He was a leader in the locker room. He was a leader on the ice. And when it came down to it, he put his pride aside to help out the younger hockey talent. And on occasion, I like to poke fun at his cap hit. Would you pay $6 million for 17 points? I wouldn't. But Alex Steen had so much more value than just the 17 points. Like I said, he was a mentor to young NHL talents. He was a leader on the ice. And even more important, he's been there from the very beginning. He has firsthand experienced how much potential this team has, and he helped them reach it, especially in 2019. We gotta take our hats off to him. I mean, he was such an integral part to this team for the last decade now. And, you don't find very many talents like that anymore. While this may not have been the ending we wanted, thank you so much for being a part of my childhood and being a part of this St. Louis Blues team. You've done so much for this team and the sport of hockey in general. And I'm glad that I got to cheer you on during your career. Now we move on to something a little bit more confusing. I've heard conflicting reports on what it's done with the salary cap, and I just want to go over that real briefly because I know a lot of you were just as confused as I am. Now I'm going to be basing all of my information from Cap Friendly directly, okay? It's their specialty kind of thing. They know what they're talking about. I'm just going to read this directly from their page. The Blues now find themselves in a very interesting situation in regards to their salary cap. They are currently projected at $1.175 million over the ceiling with a roster of 21, 19 skaters and 2 goalies. However, they also have RFA Vince Dunn, who is still unsigned. If Steen is placed on off-season LTI with no additional changes made to the current roster, they would have roughly $4.5 million in cap space to sign Dunn and any other roster moves they had in mind before the last day of camp. However, unused space is lost once the season starts. If, however, the club is able to temporarily shed the $1.175 million before training camp ends and still have a roster of at least 20 players, then placing Steen on LTIR once the season begins would give them the full $5.75, which they could use for the rest of the season. I know that sounds like a lot of mumbo jumbo, but I'm just going to simplify that for you real quick. So here's the situation. So the Blues have 2 options on going about this. They could, 1, place him on off-season injured reserve, and immediately free up his $5.75 million cap hit. There, the Blues have $4.5 million to re-sign Vince Dunn and anybody else they want, but the leftover cap cannot be used for the rest of the season. For instance, if they have $3 million in cap space left after signing Vince Dunn, and they sign another player for, say, $1 million, that extra $2 million remaining on the cap cannot be used for the rest of the season, whether that be for trades or a late free agent signing. Their second option is shed the $1.175 million they are spending right now and wait for the start of the season. Once the season starts, they can place Steen on LTIR and have the full $5.75 million to play around with for the rest of the season for trades or free agent signings, like I said. The catch is that this would most likely mean letting Vince Dunn go. And something tells me the Blues are going to go with the first option. Now, I might not like Doug Armstrong, but deep down I know he's not an idiot. He's most likely going to go with the first option. Because could you imagine the Twitter shitstorm that would happen if Dunn was let go? Hell, I'll be the frontline general to that shitstorm. There'd be a lot of screaming in that video, I'll tell you that right now. Which brings up a really interesting situation. With Pietrangelo and Steen gone and Tarasenko on LTIR, the Blues will have no dressed captain from last year on the team this year, which means they're gonna have to choose some new ones. I don't know how many people realize, but I took down a video on this channel. It was basically a video of me talking about Ryan O'Reilly being the next captain, but the quality was terrible, and so I just ended up getting rid of it. But going off of that video, I think O'Reilly gets to C, Parayko and Schenn get the A's, until Tarasenko gets back. Which brings us to another interesting point. What to do with the extra cap space? I say 2.5, maybe 3 go to Vince Dunn. Maybe. So let's go with the generous estimate. Let's say $3 million goes towards Vince Dunn. Okay, you got $1.5 million left. I say the Blues go out and get someone fun. Try Corey Perry or even Zdeno Chara. Why not? Chara won't ask for more than $1 million. Perry's not going to ask for much more than $1 million. Come on, Doug, make us happy. I mean, have a little fun. Get a veteran. Get some more leadership in the room. Make a few Blues fans' wet dreams come true. Why don't you? I know I'm going to miss Alexander Steen a lot, but I'm glad that he got to spend his career with St. Louis. Hopefully they bring him aboard as a coach or maybe somebody in the front office. I think that would be really cool. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Let's go Blues.